I didn't like college. I didn't like it for various reasons. And we're gonna talk about it. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about why I didn't like college and how to navigate your life when you don't like it. So if you're interested in watching, stay tuned. Alright, so 2016, January of 2016, I started college. I went to school for marketing, and I don't know, I just figured I'd do it just because, you know, it I guess is the most creative side of business, and you know, I consider myself to be a creative person, so I was like, you know what, let me just try this out, see what happens, right? For starters, I didn't have a lot of friends in college. Actually, I didn't really have any friends in college. I don't know what it was, but with my school, the social dynamics were very weird. Like, majority of people in my class didn't really talk to each other, or if they did know each other, they'd only talk to that person, and just like they wouldn't talk to anybody else. So it was kind of cliquey in that regard. I felt really intimidated to talk to people and make new friends because I just felt like out of place, essentially. Like, throughout my entire experience, I just felt like I didn't want to be there, and that I didn't really belong there. My professors were great, majority of them. My accounting professor was a nut job. He would take 10-minute breaks every 5 minutes, like literally, like no joke. He would talk a bunch of bullshit and then he would just be like, yo guys, I want to go take a water break, and then he'd like go outside for 10 minutes, and then he'd do that every 5 minutes. So it's just really weird dynamic. I just didn't really like it. I just found that I never really retained a lot of the information that I learned, and I just felt like I just did it for the wrong reasons. I mainly did it just to like appease my parents, and I was just like, yeah, I don't know. I just felt like it wasn't really for me. I felt like I should have went to like an art school or something. Like, I feel like I should have went to school for photography, maybe fashion, I don't know. I'm not sure. But I don't know. I just feel like as time goes on, I feel like that's just gonna be a really primitive way to, you know, start your life. You know what I mean? There's so many different ways you can teach yourself and start a business, and there's so many different ways that you can start your life and do it without post-secondary education. But however, it's still necessary for certain careers. Like, for example, if you want to be a doctor, please go to school. Like, please, like, we're all begging you to go to school. If you want to be an accountant, obviously you have to go to school. So there's different things that you have to go to school for that, you know, you just can't avoid it. But, you know, certain business majors, I really just don't think you really need to spend, you know, X amount of dollars to go to school. I just don't think it's necessary. I think you can definitely teach yourself how to do certain things from Udemy, for example. Like, there's so many different courses you can take for far less cheaper, and teach yourself how to do things. For example, they have a master course on marketing, like, and you can learn how to market yourself or start a brand and market the business, and kind of cultivate something that's successful. You know what I mean? So I just think that the college university is kind of an outdated it's an outdated alternative in some regard, and I don't think it's necessary, or, you know, it's like the end all be all. Like, you don't need it. I also found that my motivation levels were just they just weren't there. I just found it really hard to get up in the morning and go to an 8 a.m. class for something I didn't really care about. That's another thing I wanted to talk about. I think if you want to do that, and you want to go to school, I think it's important that you go to school for the right reasons. I think it's important that you learn how to do things for yourself. I think a lot of people have been lured into this whole college university thing for the sake of appeasing their parents and making other people see them in a better light. I think it's definitely an ego boosting thing, for sure. Because, for example, I remember before I went to school for marketing, I wanted to go to school for finance. Like, could you imagine me working at a finance firm? Like, you see this blue-haired, puffy-looking girl just like chilling in a cubicle. Like, could you imagine? Could you imagine that? Like, that is insane. Like, I'm so glad that I didn't do that. And I was really close to. And I just did it because it sounded cool and it sounded prestigious. Like, yeah, going to school for finance. Like, give me a break. Like, I don't know. I just figured it just wasn't something that I wanted to do. However, I mean, I'm not disregarding school at all. I think school is very important. In high school, like, my grades were really good. Like, I really cared, you know? And I think it's important to have that value with you, with everything you do. Make sure that, like, before you do something, make sure you care about it enough to complete it, and to do it and to finish it. Because if you don't have that care and you don't have that passion, it doesn't make any sense. So I want to just talk and touch on another thing. There are far too many people that I know that went to school for the wrong reasons and ended up with $40,000 worth of debt. And I just don't think that's something that's viable. You know what I mean? I think that, you know, there's this unconscious pressure that's put on us since we're kids to go to university. But the problem is, one of the reasons why I didn't go to university, and I chose college, was for various reasons. Number one, university class sizes are astronomically high and ridiculous in my opinion. Like, I had a lot of friends that went to like UFT, or like they went to Ryerson or whatever, and they would tell me about like some of their lecture halls. Like, they have classes with like 1,500 people, and I'm like, how does a class effectively work like that? Like, how do you manage to ask the professor questions? And they'd be like, no, you have to ask the TA, the teacher's assistant, for like if you want to ask a question, and you can only ask them questions after class, or like schedule a meeting to meet with them. And I'm like, that's insane. The largest class I ever had in college, I kid you not, had 40 people in it. 40. Majority of my classes had about 15 to 20 people in them, and you could ask the professor anything you wanted, absolutely anything, and they would answer. And it was just like kind of like a high school classroom dynamic, you know? You have your X amount of students in the class, and then you could just like raise your hand and ask the prof a question, no problem. And I just found that like the dynamics of university in a lot of regard just made like it didn't feel right to me. I almost feel as though in university you're just a number, while in college like you're actually a person. So that's definitely a good thing. I think that's a positive thing, and it's definitely a positive reinforcement if you're considering going to college or university. I definitely do think those are very important things to consider. But yeah, I just didn't care for university. I also didn't care to end up with $40,000 worth of debt for something that you choose to do at 18 years old. Like, that is so crazy. Like, it's so insane to me that we are pressured to make $40,000 to $50,000 decisions at 18 years old. Can you even get a $50,000 credit card at 18 years old? No. High chances that you cannot get a $50,000 credit card at 18 years old. But you can go to school and be $50,000 worth of debt by the time you're 22. Woo! I love that. I just think that there are different ways to monetize yourself. You can brand yourself, you can find a way to navigate life and make money and just do things differently. Like, think outside the box. Like, seriously, like, there are so many different ways you can make money. Like, for example, I know lots of people who have pursued a career in Forex or commodities trading or stock trading. Like, they've saved up some money or borrowed some money off of a credit card and invested it and like learned how to trade and make money from that. Do I advise that for everybody? I don't, because I mean, if you're going to pursue a career like that, you have to have the genuine interest in order to do that. So all I'm saying is that essentially at the end of the day, pursue whatever you want to do. If you want to go to school, but make sure you're doing it for the right reasons, because at the end of the day, you don't want to do something and then look back 5 years later and be like, damn, like, I wish I didn't do that. Like, that was just such a waste of my time. Like, I want to advise people to do things with a genuine intention, and you'll flourish. And I don't know, I just figured I wanted to share my experiences. with that whole experience, I just figured the next time I do pursue like that part of my life and do decide to go back to school, I'm just gonna go to art school or something and like go to school for photography. And even then, that's not even necessary because Udemy, I'm gonna put a link down in the description box, but they have literally like so many courses about how to do certain things. So yeah, anyway guys, I'm gonna get going. This video is already like 11 minutes long or 10 minutes long-ish, and I don't want to bore you to death. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I hope you learned something from it. So I will be back with more videos and more topics soon, so stay tuned and stay blessed. Bye!